Hi everybody, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Let's take a look at the forecast I've written for this full moon, which is occurring on November 30th, and it actually took place at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Full moon in Gemini, November 30th, 2020. And this painting is Full Moon Party by Claudine de Pau. Full of fairies and lightning bugs and some very strange snails. So let's see what we've got going on here. Full moon in Gemini, Monday, November 30th, conveys the childlike imagination and curiosity of this mutable air sign as the moon opposes the sun in expansive Sagittarius. The moon in Mercury-ruled Gemini sextile to Mars in I Am Aries gives you a restless desire to share what is on your mind with anyone who will listen, and you can quickly find common ground and similar interests with the people you meet today. Neptune, planet of beauty, healing, and inspiration, in make-believe Pisces, squares the moon in Let's Pretend Gemini, presenting the challenge of overcoming doubt. Your ability to believe in what you can't see or to question what is truly possible might help you work some manifesting magic. As the day unfolds, the moon enters a quincunx aspect with Venus in perceptive Scorpio, while Venus opposes unusual Uranus in earthy Taurus and forms a trine to Neptune. If you welcome communication with other realms with the mindset of a child who accepts that fairies are real and animals can talk, you might be surprised by the messages you receive. If you can spend time in nature, do so. An eclipse taking place at this full moon enhances lucid dreaming, intuition, and telepathic communication. Let's take a look at planetwatcher.com and see what the transits look like. All right, here we have that moon and sun opposition at 8 degrees 38 minutes, Gemini and Sag, and we've got Mercury in Scorpio, just about done with its Scorpio transit, and it will be entering, let's see if it shows, Mercury in Sagittarius in 1.2 days, so it's coming up fast. And we have Venus at 10 degrees of Scorpio. Venus is really busy, making a lot of aspects all over the place, and Mercury as well. Some of these aspects are no longer applying, they're separating, they're losing their strength, but you may still find that these two planets factor in a great deal on the day-to-day, where there's a lot of thought going on, a lot of communication, and you may change your mind back and forth, feel different about things from moment to moment because Mercury is so involved with lots of other planets, and Venus as well. How you feel about things may change from one moment to the next as you attempt to discern what it is that you truly want. And that opposition of Venus to an unstable planet in Taurus, planet of change and the unexpected, you may swing back and forth between falling in love, falling out of love, not being sure about whether you want to be with somebody or be single. Boundaries are often an issue with Scorpio energy, and values and trust. Taurus, both signs bring up trust things, and both signs rule money houses and also houses where we share our values, not just our money, but our values with others. Scorpio rules a house, the 8th house of deeper bonds of intimacy, and Taurus rules the 2nd house of personal finances, self-worth, self-esteem, personal values. So the opposition going on there is almost as strong right now as what we're feeling at the full moon. And you may be dealing with the mutable energy of Sagittarius Sun, which wants to expand and grow and seek, and Gemini, too many choices, too many ideas, what to decide, what to do, while you have Venus and Uranus in opposition. You may be choosing between two partners. You may be choosing between two jobs. It really depends upon where these planets are transiting through your own natal chart, what houses they are activating, as to where your decisions may be. And we also have the moon approaching the north node in Gemini, and that will also make things feel more important, more intense, because this has to do with the feeling of fate, destiny, karma, finding your path. We have a yod. In fact, there are two yods going on in here, but they're not particularly strong because the angles are not tight. But we've got one yod here with the north node and Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn in Capricorn. These two planets are also coming to the end of their stretch, moving through the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, and they're preparing to enter into Aquarius in December. So many things are going to be coming to an end that we've been enduring for a long time. And some of that may be political. Capricorn does rule authority and government. And there may be other things within your own personal life that you might be looking at releasing, letting go of, time to end. And if you are on the fence about those things, you may be looking at your options while we're under this Gemini Sagittarius energy, determining what your best course of action might be. Some things may actually be decided for you. The all or nothing energy of Scorpio may push something into have to over the next few weeks as this yod is going on with the Capricorn planets and Scorpio energy. So something may be determined whether you decide it or not, and then you may just have to be responding to whatever takes place. Definitely, the more you can be aware and observe, be aware, realize that you have options and that your attitude and your thoughts can have some effect upon your reality and what you begin to attract to you in terms of your future, that may make a difference between whether you're happy with changes that go on in your life now or unhappy. And we have a lot of mixed energy around Uranus. We have potential not so happy opposing Venus, but we also have the quincunx to the Sun in Sagittarius, and you might not know yet that whatever is coming is going to be better. I look at this as the silver lining around the cloud type of energy. It's an odd mix, Sagittarius and Aquarius, Sagittarius and Taurus energy with Aquarian overtones because of Aquarius's ruling planet being involved. So there is opportunity for change and growth, and it may require taking some risks or chances and letting yourself be uncomfortable. Change isn't always comfortable. That's definitely, I can't remember any time when change was a comfortable thing in my life. So go with the flow as much as possible. We have one nice flow aspect here as well. We have Venus making a trine to Neptune, and it will pull into a tighter trine as Venus moves forward over the next week, and we get into a tighter trine with Neptune. This can bring some miracles, or this can bring the adjustment, the acceptance, the letting go and trusting that things are going to work out for your highest good and that everything is going the way it's supposed to be going. Mars is toning down some of its aggravating energy. We went through a rough time while it was retrograding, and it came out of retrograde, I believe, November 16th, 14th. Around mid-November, it came out of its retrograde. So now we've had it moving full forward for 2 weeks, and we are better able to act upon things, and it is no longer opposing things in Libra. We're out of the Libra season and into the Scorpio season, so we're not having that really frustrating, tense, wanting to wanting to react to everything and spend a lot of time in anger, that's diminishing. And it's falling out of the square to the Capricorn planets as well. So even the tension buildup that we had around the election and the aftermath of the election is beginning to fade, and people are moving on. They're looking to their future while Mars is making this sextile to the North Node in Gemini, looking for alternatives, something better, not wanting to stay stuck in the past and not wanting to argue and disagree with other people anymore. So the community comes out as being important at this full moon. Both Sagittarius and Gemini rule community and being able to accept other people as brother, sister, friend, neighbor, both close to home, Gemini energy, and out there in the world at large, Sagittarius energy. And to remain optimistic and hopeful and apply some humor. Sense of humor is always welcome when we have the Sagittarius season. Let's take a look at the Sabian symbol for our lunation, and we round up to 9 degrees of Gemini, a quiver filled with arrows. Keynote man's aggressive relationship to natural life as a basis for survival and conquest. The bow and arrows represent symbolically man's ability to extend the scope of his conquest of nature and to kill enemies in order to build a larger base for the collective development of a culture and an organized society. Implied in the symbol of the arrow is the piercing of a target. The mind of man is essentially a trans-piercing power. It goes through the object toward which it is aimed. It seeks to go through and beyond the obstacles on its path, and this usually implies the destruction of the obstacle. At a higher level, as in the Zen practice of archery, the obstacle is the ego. At this 4th stage of the 14th fivefold sequence of phases in the cyclic process of human existence, we are shown the archetypal symbol of man, the conqueror. It may be a conquest of outer nature or that of instinctive drives and of the limiting power of the ego. It is always conquest. I'm not particularly seeing the strong desire of winning or overcoming here, although we do have competition often under Sagittarius energy and most often team sports, not so much individual competition. What I feel from the quiver of the arrows is that they are waiting and there are multiple options, that we can always choose different thoughts, different ways of dealing with things, which is what the mutable signs are very good at. What I get from our current transits and was mentioned in the Sabian symbol is man's connection to nature. And while we have strong Scorpio and Pisces and Taurus energy and Capricorn as well, we have a lot of earth and water, and actually the air and fire is a little bit less than all the earth and water that's in place right now. Tune in to nature, tune into the feminine and the divine, and connect with nature, open up to the divas, communicate with animals, basically open up to your softer and more intuitive side. And I think that that is going to be where you find your inspiration, your healing. It's going to activate the imaginative process, and that will give the moon and the sun in Gemini and in Sagittarius an actual target or a goal, a higher purpose or reasoning. I think going into the intuitive and the introspective, which happens naturally at a full moon, particularly while we're having this partial eclipse. We go in deeper into what's going on in our subconscious, things that we might have repressed or are not aware of can come up for awareness, and then we can have those epiphanies, those aha moments. We have analysis and action, though, going on in the fire and the air. But first, you have to go into the earth and the water. So go and get grounded out with the trees, down by the river, walk the beach, hold a rock, hug a tree, whatever. Open up to that side first as you're in the dark of the eclipse, and come into a conscious awareness of where you want to go next in your adventure. And definitely while the sun is in Sagittarius, that quickening of adventure is coming up for everybody. Many people are going to want to travel and see family, and there's risk involved, and we know there's risk involved. So please be safe and think of the people that you know who are older or who are vulnerable, and be mindful of them as you venture forth into the world. Be safe, and until the next lunation, when we talk again, which will be in December, right around the 14th, I believe, 13th or 14th, we have a new moon, and we'll see what occurs at that time. And then we will be looking at Jupiter and Saturn coming out of Capricorn in Aquarius and into Aquarius just after that new moon in December. So we're going to have some big shifts around the new moon. Now is a time for tuning into the intuition, making a battle plan, looking ahead, and thinking about who you need to connect with and what are the various paths you can take toward where you want to go, and communicate. And while you're communicating, communicate with your higher self, communicate with nature, and watch for the signs and the answers in the days to come as we approach that new moon in mid-December.